Yo, what's up, and welcome inside the opening line, part of the Elite Fantasy Sports Network. Happy Monday to everybody. Ready to get back to it. Don't forget, subscribe to Guru Elite right here on YouTube so you get these videos in your inbox daily. It's the opening line, getting ready to recap what took place over the course of the weekend and start to get you ready for the week. My main man, Benny Ricciardi. Benny, what's good with you? How was your weekend, brother?
It was okay. Would have been a lot better if they didn't take that horse down in the Derby. I did have a little bit of maximum security on top there, but I didn't have any of that 20 horse, so that one kind of hurt.
Yeah, no, obviously me, tailoring a lot of your stuff. I had a couple tickets with the 7 horse in it, but obviously the 20 was nowhere to be found. Benny, you as the racing guy, let me ask you right off the rip, right off the top, because I started my Saturday basically saying to myself, I'll be honest with you, I was being lazy, whatever. I was like, nah, I'm not going to be able to bet the Derby today. I'm not going to be able to make it out to FanDuel to put the tickets in, whatever. No way to do it online. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to chill around Harlem. Then I got a phone call from one of the homies. It was like, yo, he was driving down from Connecticut, my man Riggs. He was like, yo, I'll stop through and scoop you. And then on my way out there, so I said, okay, sure. On my way out there, my brother-in-law texted me and was like, yo, I'm trying to bet the Warriors and Rockets tonight. What's up? I was like, well, I'm at the joint. I'm heading out there now. I'll just wait for you to get out here and we can just chill and make a day of it. So that's what I did. We got out there, Benny. I don't know what time did you make it out to the Meadowlands or what time you got out there. When I got out there, that joint was jam-packed.
Oh, it always is. It always is on Derby Day. Derby Day is one of the biggest days for for betting, and it's the biggest day for betting basically in the horse racing world. The only one that comes close is the Breeders' Cup, and the Breeders' Cup is only because it's more of an international event.
Yeah.
In the United States, I mean, nothing is bigger than Derby Day, at least, handle-wise on the betting side of it.
What time did you make it out to FanDuel?
So I went early because we had some family parties and stuff going on during the day. So my kid had a game in the morning. I went out at like 2 o'clock, put my bets in at 2 o'clock. And then, yeah, like 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, was I out there? No, I wasn't out there by then. I was still uptown at 2 p.m. I think I might have left here. I didn't leave here till 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I basically walked in. Like, they have these machines on the side that, you can bet straight from the machine if you know what you're doing. So I usually just walk in, bet from the machine, and walk right out, which is basically what I did. I just got my tickets, and then I left because, like I said, we had to go to a family party in the afternoon. So this way I wanted to make sure I had it in. I also do have, like, again, New Jersey, they have a wagering account. New Jersey Bets is what it's called. It's basically the same as like a sports book account, but it's, only for the horses. So I had a little bit of cash that was still in that account too. So I made a couple bets like a couple minutes before the race started once I saw kind of where the odds were falling and, which horses were over the odds I thought they should be, where I thought they were good bets. Basically the stuff I was writing up in the article.
No, so basically this is my first time ever betting. This past Saturday, my first time ever betting on the Derby. Mm-hmm. So my daughter's mother, her birthday is in the second weekend in July. So I remember one year we was in Charleston, West Virginia.
Mm.
So would that be the Preakness or would that be
second weekend? Well, let's see.
Second weekend in June. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's probably the Belmont.
The Belmont.
Yeah, basically they do. So the Derby was this weekend. 2 weeks from now will be the Preakness. And then 3 weeks after that is the Belmont. So that's about the time you're talking about, somewhere in the middle, beginning, middle of June.
No doubt. I had no clue that one particular time. But today I'm going out there. I got Benny's picks. I came in there. I feel real good about what's going on with the Derby. So my homeboy was saying, you know what, I'm going to play those picks that you got, and then I'm going to put $2 on every horse, and maybe one of the long shots win. You know what I'm saying?
No, he was right.
That's not a bad strategy right there. So we get out there. First thing we noticed, the parking lot was so jammed, we had to take a shuttle.
Yep.
We had to park by MetLife, take a shuttle out to the joint. Now, what I found funny, Benny, and like I said, this is my first time being out the track for Derby Day. There was a lot of cats up there dressed up like they was at the Derby, legit at the Derby.
Yeah, they usually, and again, I don't know because now that the Meadowlands is a little bit different, or I should say whatever they call it right now, the sports book is a little bit different than it had been in the past. But usually they have a room upstairs, and they have like a, they have a rich people party upstairs where, all the rich people come and get dressed up and go upstairs while, the rest of us degenerates in sweatpants and T-shirts hang out on the first floor.
That was it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's where I am every year too. But they do have, stuff like that going on. There's, like I said, there's a lot of money, a lot of interest in the Derby. So, a lot of the Monmouth Park actually makes Derby Saturday opening day. because they figure so many people are going to be coming out to go to the track anyway. They might as well throw some live racing out there and, capture some live money. So, like I said, it's one of the biggest racing days of the year in the United States.
Yeah, so we get out there. Like I said, I was shocked by the whole atmosphere. And one thing I will give them credit for, went right up to the window, was in line no more than 5 minutes. The lady was very helpful, getting some first-timers to help place their tickets, whatever. So I got my tickets in. I was good to go, feeling good before the race started. They actually had up by me on Lenox Avenue, the Red Rooster, which is a popular restaurant. It's on the Food Network all the time. One of those celebrity chefs has a restaurant up here in Harlem called the Red Rooster. They actually had something called a Harlem Derby. So it was a whole bunch of people dressed up like they were going to be at the Kentucky Derby. So I found that pretty interesting. Also, a lot of people had a lot of fun with it and good times with it, Benny. So we get out there, we get the tickets, we get online. I run into my main man, Gabe. Shout out to Gabe Morrissey. Run into Gabe out there, you know what I mean? So everybody's packed in, got a couple beers going down, and then the horse takes off. The 12th race at Churchill Downs, Benny, and as we're watching the race and we're coming down the stretch, and I'm seeing our horse, Game Winner. He made a little push at one point, but he couldn't really crack into the top 5. So I was like, okay, well, it's going to be tough, without Game Winner in there. But when the race comes to an end, I hear Gabe says, "Yes, I got it. I caught the winner." You know what I mean? I caught the winner. You know what I'm saying? Maximum security. Florida Derby, it always works all the time. You win the Florida Derby, you come back, you win the Kentucky Derby. So Gabe and a good amount of people inside the book were pretty happy about what went down. You know what I'm saying? So we sitting there watching it, and everybody's getting ready to go to the line. One of my homeboys texted me and was like, "Oh my God, they're about to F me." So I don't know what's going on, Benny. And then I hear Gabe start to rumble. And when oh, man, Benny, I thought Gabe was going to incite a riot in that joint, you know what I'm saying? So now you got the big 20-minute wait, and Benny, you're the horse guy. Let me ask you, was the disqualification, was that the right call?
Absolutely. I honestly said it when the race was going on, when he came out there. I mean, listen, here's the deal. If this happened on a Wednesday afternoon at, whatever random race there, everybody, all the horse guys that are standing there, the degenerates that are usually there on a random Wednesday afternoon, like myself, betting on horses, would all be looking at each other like, yeah, they're going to take him down, right? Yeah, probably they're taking him down. Like, yeah, he's definitely taking him down. He came out. I mean, again, it sucks because most people watching the Kentucky Derby don't understand that that's part of racing. I mean, even our wonderful president was tweeting about it, how, this is a participation trophy thing. It's really not. Like, this is a legit, straight up rule of horse racing. When you're running, you have to stay in your lane. And the reason you have to stay in your lane is you have these horses that are running at, nearly 40 miles per hour. If you got guys, cutting each other off and doing all that, you're gonna get horses hurt. You're gonna get jockeys hurt. It's gonna be a shit show.
It could have been a major disaster.
Yeah, so that's the reason why they have the rule to begin with. When he was coming around the turn, he definitely veered out. When he veered out, he stopped the momentum of the one horse that's coming. And this was one of the things I wrote up in my
that horse was
War of Wills, or War of World, or something like that. Yeah. So he stopped him off from coming. Now here's the thing that most people don't understand. There's 2 parts to any time there's an objection like this. Now this wasn't an inquiry. An inquiry means that the guys, the judges, the stewards in the racing booth basically said, we want to take a look at this because something happened. That's not actually what happened here. There was a straight objection. So after the race is over, if one of the jockeys thinks that, somebody did something against the rules or they interfered with them on their mount, they're allowed to lodge an objection. Not one, but 2 different jockeys lodged an objection against the winning horse because of what happened here. I knew that they were going to take the horse down, Corey, after about 5 minutes, because most of the time they'll look at it. If they don't think there's anything there, then they'll put up the results right away. But it's like in football, right? When we have when somebody throws the flag in football and then they decide, yes, this was a wrong call, it takes them 15 minutes because they have to figure out, like, the down, the distance, the time on the clock, and all that stuff.
No doubt.
When it was taking so long, I knew they were taking this horse down. Now, the second part of the rule is you can't put the horse that, committed the foul above the horse who he basically interfered with. So at the very least, when they put the 7 down, people were like, oh, they'll put him in second or they'll put him in third. And I was like, no, they're going to have to put him all the way down to like 7th or 8th, because at the very least, he has to be behind the one horse who was the first horse that he interfered with. So when they put up the disqualification, people were flipping out because some people still had, exactors like 720 or trifectors that had those numbers in there. But I knew they were going to take him out of the whole thing because, again, if he interfered with the one horse, you can't put him ahead of the one horse. That's the way the rule is. So they had to put him at least behind that horse. And the easiest way to do it is just to DQ him altogether for the run that he had. Now, does it suck that it happened? Yes. But at the same point in time, again, I was watching it with a bunch of people, a couple of them from Kentucky, a bunch of horse guys that we were all hanging out together.
Good times.
And there was like literally no question amongst us. As soon as we saw it happen in the race, everybody was like, oh man, there's going to be an inquiry. He's coming down. Like, it wasn't a shock to me, to be honest with you.
No doubt. So that takes place. Gabe flips out. He goes bananas. My other homeboy that put $2 on every horse was like a long shot one.
Yeah.
I got a winner. You know what I'm saying? So he hits it. You know what I'm saying? So he's feeling good. Gabe is damn near inciting the riot. And I'm just sitting up there like, okay, well, listen, I didn't go too heavy on it, so it wasn't bad. It was a fun experience altogether. So, we got in our little huddle. We got a couple beers. We drank some beers. And then somebody said, hey, let's take a trip outside. So we were always like, yeah, let's take a trip outside. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're going outside so we can participate in a little bit of a cipher. Now, with that being said, let me tell you how wild the FanDuel Sportsbook is. So we go outside, right? So this dude, he comes out like the VIP exit, right? Mm-hmm. He has a red duffel bag in his hand. So we're standing over there by, on the side, you know what I mean, by the grass, whatever, yep. By the VIP parking lot. Mm-hmm. With our eyes on the fuzz, you know what I mean? So the dude with the red duffel bag, he walks through the grass, he goes over to the gate, and the fence, and he takes the duffel bag and throws it over the fence. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Mm-hmm. So my homeboy was like, yo, did you just see that? I was like, yeah, I just saw that. Now, me being from Harlem, my first thought was, go get that bag.
There's something good in there, without a doubt, yeah.
Whatever's in that bag, somebody want whatever in that bag, you know?
That's right. If he's throwing it over the fence, there's somebody coming on the other side at some point to pick that up, whatever's in there.
So my thought process was, well, be the guy to go pick it up before the other guy goes and gets it. So now I'm sitting up there really debating this because I know what's in that bag has got to be something good.
Yep.
Then, Gabe was like, yo, it's cameras all over this joint. don't go fucking with that bag. You know what I'm saying?
It is true. He's got a point there, man. That place is, if you're doing something wrong, the parking lot of the FanDuel Sportsbook is probably not the place you want to be.
Yeah, so there you go. I think about the most you can do out there. You might want to go out there, smoke a little marijuana. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Get back inside and don't pick up no bags that somebody threw over the gate.
Yeah.
So Vinny, we come back inside, and just like clockwork, you know what I'm saying? We go back and we sit down. So now we're putting the rest of the bets together for NBA, obviously, Canelo Alvarez and stuff like that. Yep. So I found some odds on Alvarez. I had him for a unanimous decision at plus 135. Now, on the money line, Canelo Alvarez was minus 750, but I was able to – I think I parlayed Alvarez with the Dodgers. That's what I did.
Okay.
I parlayed him with the Dodgers. It brought it to like plus 102, which I was surprised to see. I also parlayed him with Ayakenta, I believe his name is.
Yeah, the UFC fight.
The UFC fight. So I was like, okay, I got that right there off Elite Betting, you know what I'm saying? So I played my tickets. I go to get the bathroom, go get my chicken wings. Sure enough, my brother-in-law comes walking in, and I'm like, okay, now we got a party. So now I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do with Rockets and Warriors.
Okay.
The one thing I know I did like was the under. I did like the under. So I because people always look at Houston and Golden State as these two up and down, coast to coast, score all these point teams. Their games actually plays up toward the under. Mm-hmm. So I got in on the under. Then the game starts, Benny. And you know what? For the most part, pretty good, very exciting NBA game. I think I hit like Golden State in the first quarter. That was really it, though, because down the stretch of that game, Benny, Steph Curry was horrible.
Steph Curry's been pretty much horrible this whole series, at least for a Steph Curry standard. You know what I mean? For what you expect out of him. And it's kind of why Kevin Durant has been taking his step forward. I mean, Durant has really been what's carrying them lately. Steph hasn't really played well. Klay Thompson hasn't really played well either. You know, you look at, you look at the box scores from the last couple games, Andre Iguodala has really stepped up and played better, and he's playing like 30-something minutes because he's basically their primary defender for Harden, right?
He's found the fountain of youth.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what the thing with him is? He's such a good defender, and you need. I mean, Harden is the best one-on-one player in the league, so you need the best defender on your team to guard him. So Iggy's been getting a lot of minutes because they need him to guard him. And again, remember, there's no Boogie Cousins here, so it's not like they have to go really big. And we were talking about this the other day when you were saying, if they're going to put Austin Rivers in there. The Rockets have been going with 4 guards.
Yeah.
Like they're basically playing for all intents and purposes, James Harden is like the power forward because they're playing Chris Paul, Austin Rivers, Eric Gordon, James Harden together on the outside with Clint Capella. Like that's their main 5 that's been out there on the floor.
You're right. I think that small lineup is a hinder. In the long run, I think that small lineup is going to end up hurting them. That small lineup is really the only way they can compete, though.
See, but what it does is it forces the Warriors to have to use Iguodala. Yeah. But I don't think that's actually a good thing. You know what I mean? Like forcing them to use Iguodala instead of Kevon Looney and Jonas Jerebko and all those other guys that they had been using.
Yeah,
like Boga. Exactly. Like, instead of using those guys now, they're playing, the main 4 guys, the core 4, the Durant, the Steph Curry, the Klay Thompson, the Draymond. Those guys are playing their 35, 40 minutes. But now Iguodala in this series is playing his 35, 40 minutes too. And again, Iguodala's not a stud, but he's getting you 10 to 15 points a game. He's going to get you a couple rebounds. He's going to get you a couple assists. Very good defensive player, so he'll get some steals. He'll get some blocks. And the thing is, he never lets James Harden. James Harden's going to score no matter what. Yeah. Iguodala never lets him take easy shots. Like every one of those shots, he's at least within arm's length of him, has a hand in his face, is bothering him, is doing a good job of not fouling. Like one of the things that Harden does really well is draw fouls, get to the free throw line, and, take 10, 12 free throws a game and knock him down. Iguodala's done a very good job of making shots tough for him, but not fouling him and giving him easy opportunities on the foul line to score some points. So I think that's a big thing in this series. And like you said, I don't necessarily think it benefits Houston to have the Austin Rivers out there and allow Golden State to go small. It worked last game for them. It has worked. Eric Gordon basically has been playing out of his mind, which is the reason why. But I don't necessarily think that's the best strategy for them long-term to win this series.
Well, I think definitely not. Obviously, a cat like Eric Gordon had that big game of a night, scored over 30 points. One thing about a cat like Eric Gordon is dudes like Eric Gordon, like the role players, and I hate to call him a role player because he's been excellent.
Yeah.
They play good at home. And when you get on the road, those players tend to disappear. And that's the problem. But Andre Iguodala has been very good. Listen, Houston gets that win the other night. We'll talk about it, handicap and breakdown tonight's matchup a little bit later on in the program. But after that that loss, it was amazing in that joint because everybody still half the people in there still dressed like they're going to the damn Kentucky Derby. You know what I mean? Going down the stretch of that ball game right there. Then everybody clears out. We come back uptown for the fight and end up wrapping up the night. So had a pretty good Saturday night, Benny. That's how it all went down. Let me ask you one last question before we get back into some of the other stuff that's going on this weekend. Maximum security. Will he race at the Belmont and the Preakness?
Most likely he'll be in the Preakness. The Preakness is actually the race that sets up best for him.
Okay.
Again, I mean, he was the one I called the Ricky Bobby of racehorses the other day. I said he was going to go to the front and he was either going to end up winning the race or he was going to get tired and end up in last place. But, that's the running style that he has. The running style that tends to win the Preakness is horses that can make it to the front of the race.
Yeah.
So he actually sets up best for the Preakness. If he runs into Preakness and doesn't win, I don't think they'll try to run him back in the Belmont because the Belmont is not really the kind of race that sets up well for him. But a front-running speed horse like that, who really, the horse was 4 for 4 before the Derby, and he technically was the horse that got home first. So this is a horse who has never been behind any other racehorse at the wire in his entire career. So he's going to be, if he's in the Preakness, he's going to be a deserving favorite for the Preakness, even if he's not the favorite. He's a horse that I would put money back on, yes.
All right, there you go right there. So we've got that covered for you coming up. Do not forget, already season-long fantasy football content already pumping out at fantasyguru.com. You want to head over there, you got to do it now. Get the nice discount before things really get picked up a little bit later on in the summer. So yesterday, Benny, I hopped in my first best ball 10. Kind of look at where the board is, how the board is shaking up in the early part of the year, after the draft and stuff like that. Now, think we went on the clock yesterday, 4 hours in between picks on the slow draft.
Okay.
We only threw like the first 13 picks, Benny, which is absolutely disgusting. When I woke up, I saw that this morning. I kind of wanted to start to put my strategy together. I got the number 1 pick. And you know what, Benny? I just went with Saquon Barkley because he's going to get so much volume because the Giants don't have nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, last year alone, not only was he getting all the rushing work and the rushing, goal line touches and stuff like that, but he was also catching. He had games where he saw double-digit targets and made double-digit catches. So, I can't really knock it for you. I mean, he's definitely going to be one of those guys that deserves to be one of the top 5 picks in every draft right there. And I have no problem with you taking him number 1.
After I take Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott go off the board, I think that's going to be the top 3 consensus right there. After Elliott, we have in some same like any one of those 3 guys can go 1. Any one of those 3 guys can go 3. After Elliott goes off the board, you have Alvin Kamara followed by Melvin Gordon. I think Melvin Gordon's an excellent pick right there because Melvin Gordon he's safe with Melvin Gordon, and then you can find an adequate guy for when he does take his injuries. Their backup running backs always tend to get some work, so you got to make sure you grab that handcuff if you take Melvin Gordon. After Gordon, with the 6th pick, goes Todd Gurley.
All right.
I wouldn't have went Gurley there.
No, I was just about to ask you that. Why is Gurley dropping to 6, and why do you think that's even too much for him?
Because I think it was a report that came out this weekend that Todd Gurley's knee may not be in the best shape. And the matter of fact that the knee may be arthritic.
That could be an issue here. Now, let me ask you this, because this is one of the things that, again, we talked about this before, how the guy who won the whole damn thing last year, drafted around this time of year. I think a week away from now, right? I think it's like May 10th or something like that. So this is the time of year when, stuff like that can happen. Where is Gurley going, and is he worth the risk at where he's going?
No. If you want to take Gurley, take him. My guess is take him. Be on Gurley close to the draft day because I can see Gurley slip into the 2nd round. I think when people really start to turn their attention to fantasy football and we really start to break down what's going on out there, I think Gurley can be a guy that can come in the 2nd round. That's when you get him at a value. Right now at 6, it's not a value at all. Okay. I would have went either DeAndre Hopkins or Odell Beckham right there at that point with or Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, I think, is going to be a guy that's going to move up. I can see Le'Veon Bell even jumping ahead of Alvin Kamara and Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue that at all. Like I said, as a Jets fan, I'm expecting Le'Veon Bell to get 20 touches on a bad game. On a good game, I expect him to be 25, 30 because, they're going to give him the running work. They're going to throw passes to him out of the backfield. And I do expect the Jets offense to be better this year. I mean, let's face it, they added some pieces that are going to make it better than it was last year. They didn't really have a lot of weapons. Not that the offense was good. See, I'm a realist as a Jets fan, Corey. Like
most Jets fans are.
The offense is going to be better, but we're not going to be a team that's putting up 35, 40 points a game. Like that's not the way it's going to work out this year. But I do expect the offense to be better, and I expect Le'Veon to be a big part of that. So to me, he's a 1st-round pick in fantasy.
Yeah, no doubt, definitely. So that's where he's at right now. So if you draft him early, Le'Veon Bell is going to come in as a discount until, at least at this time of year. Now, after Le'Veon Bell goes off the board, after Gurley goes off the board, you get D-Hop, you get Devontae Adams, and Le'Veon Bell with pick 9. Pick 10 is Travis Kelce. I meant to talk about something on Friday with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then I forgot about it. And I think we'll get a good laugh out of it, Benny. But after Travis Kelce goes at 110, first tight end going in the 1st round. Obviously, it's very unlikely we see Tyreek Hill this year. At least that's what I think. But Travis Kelce as a round 1 tight end, I can't do it, Benny, but I can see it.
Yeah, again, unless I'm playing in a league that has some kind of scoring system that's skewed tight end heavy, like last year, if you were in a Scott Fish Bowl, the way they had it with those first down for tight ends being worth more points to try to make them, a little more in line with the top running backs and wide receivers. I don't know if I could pull the trigger, but I don't know if you saw the meme when the whole Tyreek Hill thing started. You know the meme with the kid playing Frisbee with himself, like where he throws the Frisbee and then he goes and gets it and he picks it up and throws it back the other way and then runs and goes and gets it. And somebody took that meme and threw like Pat Mahomes at Chiefs practice in there on it. So I thought that was pretty funny because I do think that is the major problem that they're going to have this year. I mean, who the hell is – Mahomes might be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and people were talking about him as a first-round pick. Remember that, Corey? Who the hell is he going to throw the ball to, though?
That becomes the problem right there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm trying to find some information right now on that. But we'll come together and we'll figure it out. Travis Kelce goes to that 110 spot. Then there's Michael Thomas, who is solid, consistent as it gets. And then you see David Johnson coming in at the end of the first round. I do think David Johnson can have a bounce-back season. But when you look at this second round, Benny, and what started in this second round, Julio Jones, Joe Mixon, Odell Beckham, James Conner, Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown, Nick Chubb, and Dalvin Cook. The second round is loaded, Benny.
Yeah, that's a lot of talent right there. I mean, you can put together some really nice combinations. You know, you can do like Julio.
As long as you're not at the one hole like I am. At the one hole is going to be tough. To be honest with you, Benny, at the one hole, coming back on that 2-3 turn, coming out of one, the pick very well could be Pat Mahomes there.
So how many people? Is this 10 person, 15 person?
12-team league.
So you'd be talking picks 24, 25 right there, right?
Yeah. Still too early for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, even like I'm trying to justify even on like a 6-point touchdown league or something like that. I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm always somebody who kind of waits on quarterback because I always feel like, you know, it's one of the smaller differences. Although I will say this, like there are certain guys that do year after year kind of stand out above the pack. You know, the Drew Breeses, I guess the Patrick Mahomes has got to be one of those guys that you put in there right now. I mean, there were times when, like, people used to take Peyton Manning first overall in some of those Broncos years. You know, the early Broncos years when he was throwing a lot of touchdowns, or even the Indy years. And I never really got on board with it. I guess I'm just not a quarterback before like the 5th or 6th round.
I can dig it. Yeah.
No, it's just not the way I build teams.
To quote the great King Scott Engel, there's many different ways to skin the fantasy cat. So there you go, right there. So that's what it's looking like right now as we're through. We're through about 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 picks. Well, 20 picks of this draft. Dalvin Cook back up there. Also Antonio Brown, Chubb, Smith-Schuster, Odell Beckham, all in the second round. I think Beckham jumps into that first round. I just think, Benny, I think Beckham could have a real big year this year.
We actually had somebody who can throw the football down the field a little bit. I mean, we've never seen that. We've never seen Odell Beckham with a guy that can throw the football down the field. So we have no idea how good he could be this year.
You're right. You're 100% correct because even his rookie year, Eli Manning was becoming on the verge of being washed up. So fantasyguru.com, if you want to start putting your strategy together, open right now for subscriptions, not to mention the fact you get that nice early bird discount if you want to hop right in. Speaking of Tyreek Hill, speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tyreek Hill text message that was released between the text message exchange between
I saw that, yeah.
Yo, Benny, I was born at night, not last night. First of all, listen to this. This is Tyreek Hill version of – this is what Tyreek Hill's lawyers and people are saying he sent as a text message. Crystal, you know I did not cause any bruising or harm to our son, but for some reason I still may be charged. Benny, on the audio, he called Crystal bro like 3 times. So you mean to tell me, Benny, I text like I talk. I'm sure Tyreek Hill text like he talk. Tyreek Hill don't talk like this, Benny.
I mean, listen, you know the way that things are in the world right now, Corey. There's his side, there's her side, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth. And this is what happened. This is all this spin and all this fake news and all this bullshit that we live in right nowadays. I got to be honest. The thing that I like about, law enforcement is they're not going to fall for whatever's in the media. They're going to go and do their job. They're going to get the facts, and they're going to present the facts. And the NFL is not the kind of friendly, forgiving league, especially at the front office. You do something to jeopardize the Shield, they're not going to go lightly on you. So if there is any truth to, this whole story about him having anything to do with hurting his kid, which is the story that came out that started this whole thing right there, the NFL is going to get to the bottom of it, and the NFL is gonna take action. The NFL might take action even if they don't get to the bottom of it. We've kind of seen them. Yeah, we've kind of seen them do that before. Like to them, protecting the shield is the only thing that matters. So
when they robbed Ezekiel Elliott a couple seasons ago, to the point where the NFL's lead investigator actually quit after the decision came down because she said that's not the decision. It's like the Mueller report. She was like, I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? She was like, those are not my words. Her exact words was no harm, no foul on this one right here. What's even funnier, the response that Tyreek Hill's attorneys are putting in is Crystal saying, I know you didn't. I did. I heard our son. I'm the one that did it. Son, Benny, if you put this, if I'm a judge and you bring this before me as evidence, I'm throwing your ass in jail. Do you think I'm stupid?
Well, here's the thing: is there's two pieces of evidence right now. One of them is a text message that supposedly is between these two people. The other piece of evidence is literally a tape recording of his goddamn voice.
Yes.
So what you do is you put the tape recording on, and then you say, excuse me, Mr. Hill, can you please state your name? And he stands up and states his name, and you say, voice match right there. And at that point, the bullshit text message really doesn't hold all that much weight because you're literally on tape talking about how you did this stuff. So
basically, so you know what I'm saying? And the other piece of evidence is a 3-year-old child with a broken arm. A lot of people talking about why hasn't Tyreek Hill been suspended or released or cut or thrown out the NFL yet. My thing is probably sometime before we get into the first round of organized team activities, I think he'll hit the commissioner's exempt list. Once he hit the commissioner's exempt list, I think a release from the Kansas City Chiefs will be coming down after that. Now, I hate to say it this way. You don't want a situation – the Chiefs don't want a situation like with Kareem Hunt where you immediately cut a player and then, boom, somebody comes right behind you and grab him. And now you're like, what the hell is going on here?
No joke, though. You gotta admit that's going to happen.
Exactly.
It's going to happen one way or another. Like this is the problem is everybody will feign outrage, right? Like, how could you let that guy be on your team after he did this? But as soon as he's cut, somebody else is coming along and is going to pick that guy up because that guy can help them win football games.
It's a free player.
Yeah, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it's what is going to happen. You know, they're going to get crap from their fans and from the media to do the right thing and get rid of him. And then as soon as they get rid of him, somebody else is going to pick him up. And the thing is, he probably will get suspended. He probably will be out of football for at least a little while. You know, technically, he could be out of football for a really long time, depending on how this works out. But by the time he comes back, a lot of people will have forgotten about it or at least kind of pushed us off to the side. And I don't think it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I don't want people sending me hate mail. Benny hates kids. Like, you know, that's not what I'm saying. But we've seen it happen enough times before, whether it was beating a girlfriend or beating a wife or something along those lines. Corey, you know we've seen the same story play out 5 or 6 times already in the past couple of years in the NFL. They will cut him if there is anything serious here, and somebody else will come along and pick him up and kind of wait it out.
You can send that hate mail to Benny R at Yahoo. Nah, let me stop.
Won't be the first piece of hate mail I got. That's fine.
One thing I will say is, though, as far as the Kansas City Chiefs go, you know, well, as far as the Kareem Hunt situation, Kareem Hunt was a 3rd or 4th round draft pick on his rookie contract on a rookie deal. Mm-hmm. He gets cut, re-signs with the Browns. He's actually going to get a pay raise, Benny. That's how crazy that is. Think about that. Let that sink in right there after what Kareem Hunt did. He's actually going to get a pay raise coming out as a free agent and getting signed. So there you go right there, fantasy football right around the corner and all the goodness that comes along with the NFL. Before we get to some NBA playoff stuff for the night, Benny, I wanted to highlight you right quick. I know you didn't get it. I don't know if you got a chance to saw it, probably had a busy weekend and stuff like that, but LeBron James, who's a massive manipulator of the media, his show, The Shop, came on HBO this weekend. I didn't get to see it, but I saw a couple of the clips of it, Benny. And now, they know what they're releasing when they release it. And it was LeBron James talking about how shocked he was when Magic Johnson unexpectedly announced that he was leaving the Lakers. And LeBron was like, yo, I talked with you. We were supposed to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, I'm here and you're not going to be here. And he didn't even reach out to me and say, yo, hey, LeBron, I'm leaving. And I found that to be very interesting because obviously with LeBron putting that just didn't come out, Benny. LeBron wanted that to come out.
Well, I think LeBron wanted that to come out because I think it's all related, right? Like, basically what the problem was that sent Magic out of the way to begin with is there was some internal infighting over who was controlling the team, and Magic was taking a lot of the heat because he had basically stepped up and taken a bigger role in putting this team together. He's the guy that advocated for Lonzo Ball. He's the guy, like LeBron was saying, he's the guy who got LeBron to come over here to LA. Like, he was the one that was in his ear, like, hey, you come over here, you could be the star that I used to be, you can own this city, you can do all that stuff. And then, I think that didn't really sit right with, Jeannie Buss and kind of the management. When things went wrong, somebody had to be responsible for things that went wrong. And I think the blame was getting put on Magic, and Magic didn't like that. That's why Magic stepped out of the way. And you know what? Here's the thing about Magic, right? Like, Magic is a very image-conscious person, right? And he's also one of those people that he don't want people talking bad about him. Magic's the guy that likes to be liked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when he was – and also he's a freaking billionaire. Like, he don't need this.
Yeah.
He's doing this to give himself something to do, but he doesn't need this job. It's not like he needs this job to pay his bills or anything like that.
No, Magic Johnson can take care of a lot of people.
Magic Johnson does take care of a lot of people, to be honest with you. That's, he's one of those guys that has actually used his money to help his community and do the right things with it. And I think it was just one of those things where, like, when Magic looked at it, he was like, hey, you know what? I don't need this. I'm not going to deal with this stuff. What gets me, though, is, like, LeBron is, you're a grown-ass man right now. You're in your mid-30s. You've been around this league for a while. You're not like some 22-year-old kid whose mentor just walked away from him. Like, to LeBron, he should understand, like, this is a business. Magic brought you in. You guys put together this team that was supposed to make a run for the championship, and you didn't even make the playoffs. You got to understand, somebody's head's going to roll, and as much as you want to blame it on Luke Walton and make it Luke Walton's fault, it wasn't Luke Walton's fault that this team lost. It was the guys who got out there on the floor, which is the guys that Magic and LeBron brought in and put together.
Well, me first see how this Laker thing plays out. I think, like I said, all LBJ wanted to know was, be told before it hits the media and not have to find out from somebody else. Another thing with Magic, I think the Luke Walton thing played a big part of it. I think Jeannie and them looked at Luke Walton as family and didn't want to let him go. I think Magic was like, no, we've got to let him go. Now, what I will say is this. I wish we could bet on this. When the season starts, I don't think Luke Walton is going to be the coach of the Sacramento Kings, the job he has now. This sexual assault case that Luke Walton has, nobody's really talking about this, but this is a pretty serious case. And this lady is a very credible lady that said that, she's a member of the media. She's been around Luke Walton for years, and Luke Walton was helping her with a couple of different projects. Nothing, sexually, anything like that. There was no any kind of chemistry like that going on between the two of them. But I believe it was when he was a part of the Warriors. They were in the team hotel, and he told the woman to come by because she wanted him to sign. She wanted to give him a copy of the book, or the first draft of the book, because he wrote the foreword to the book. Mm-hmm. So they meet in the lobby, and when they meet in the lobby, he starts walking towards the elevator, and she go, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "We're going to go up to the room." She's like, "We don't need to go up to the room for this." So he was like, "But some of the players are downstairs and stuff like that. I don't want the players to see me." So she goes up to the hotel room with him, mm-hmm. And that's when Luke Walton made some very aggressive advances on her. So this Walton thing, I think Magic knew this Walton thing was coming, and I think they tried to get in front of it. Walton no longer with them. Sacramento goes and hires him. Sacramento says they're staying behind him. But this thing right here has got more leg than people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I'm with the whole with the whole Me Too movement and everything like that. I'm not getting involved in any of this. There's always his side, a her side, and it's somewhere in the middle. The biggest thing with all this stuff, and it sucks. Again, I'm lucky. I have 3 sons, so I'm not gonna have to worry about this. I know you have a daughter, and this is something that I would fear every day if I had a girl. Man, it's like, something like this happens in a hotel room where there's 2 people in there. You're never going to get the truth. You're never going to get the full story. And that's the biggest problem, is that if she says, well, he raped me, and he says, well, I didn't rape you, if there's no cameras, if there's no third person, a corroborating witness or anything, unfortunately, that's why these cases are so tough, because, there's a fine line between shooting your shot and, stepping over the line and being a creep. And there's a fine line between, what is sexual assault and what is consensual and what is, just somebody who, misread some signals. And again, I'm not making excuses for anybody here. These are every one of these situations and stuff. I don't want to go ahead and bury Luke Walton until we know more about it. But listen, in this day and age, Corey, man, you want to try to stay as far away from this kind of stuff as possible. Like, the last thing you want to do is be involved in one of these things, because it's going to be in the media. People are going to talk about it, and it's definitely not going to look good, whether or not you wind up innocent or not. You're definitely not going to come out of this looking good. So
no doubt about it. So interesting to see how this situation is going to play out. Let's hop on over and talk some NBA right now. Also, if you're a subscriber to Guru Elite, which is now Elite Betting, at least that'll be changing a little bit later on this week. In the NBA part right now, Fried Egg Paulie is on a effing heater right now. And he's not really just, and he's not talking about, I'm not talking about size and totals. He's been having these prop bets that are hitting, and they're doing pretty well. These bets on quarters, these bets on half. The other night, we were on Jokic for a triple-double at plus 340. That one kept pretty good right there in that full overtime game. Jokic with another triple-double last night. So you want to head on over to GuruElite.com and make some money before we get to the end of the basketball season. The boys are on fire right now. Bidding right now, new updated series price via FanDuel. The Portland Trail Blazers are plus 126, Denver minus 152. So the triple overtime game, so the good game last night, they go back to Denver tied at 5 games apiece. I'm still on Portland.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've actually cashed tickets on the Denver Nuggets in 3 of these 4 games early on here, and I still got my ticket for Portland to win the East. That's live as well. So, like I said, I was going to be betting Denver throughout the series. I'm now up money, having won 3 of the 4 games, being on their side. So I'm going to keep riding with Denver, right here for the last couple games. Hopefully, like I said, even if Denver winds up screwing it up and I lose some money on this series, the fact that I'm sitting on the Portland ticket allows me to do that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep riding with them.
I feel you on that one. One thing I will say is I was on the verge of a big day yesterday. Will Barton killed that with those absolute daggers in the fourth quarter of that basketball game. So shout out to Will Barton for taking money away from my children. Philadelphia and Toronto, that series now tied up at 2 games apiece. We see Kyle Lowry come out and get the big game yesterday. I was on the Raptors money line yesterday as well. Kawhi Leonard right now might be the best player outside of Kevin Durant going in this playoffs. Philadelphia now at plus 205, Toronto at minus 260 in this one. Going back up north to Jurassic Park, I'm riding with the Raptors. The Sixers are a very tough team, though. I don't understand what happened with them yesterday. That thing with Joel Embiid yesterday. Embiid's got to do a better job than that, man. Yo, I'm sick. It's sick. It's the NBA playoffs. What do you mean you sick?
I don't care. I don't care if you got gangrene and your toes about to fall off. It's the NBA playoffs. You lace them up, you get out there, and you play hard. I agree with you, man. I was on the Sixers in that game. I tweeted out before the game, like, I just think that the Sixers have, Joel Embiid had a better supporting cast than Kawhi Leonard did. And you know what? I wasn't wrong, because Joel Embiid's supporting cast played better than Kawhi Leonard's supporting cast did. The problem is Kawhi Leonard way outplayed Joel Embiid yesterday. Joel Embiid had a big game the game before, and I'm like, all right, we're over the injury news. We're over the, he's got the craps and all that stuff. I was like, game 3, he came out and he played. And I was like, all right, this is the Joel Embiid I was expecting to see this series. And then, like you said, he comes out yesterday and he kind of laid an egg in a pretty big spot over there. Like, I don't understand that, man. I don't get that at all. So
if you got the sniffles, if you hung over, I don't want to hear about it. That's what I'm saying. I don't need you texting the coach and doing this and doing that. More or less, it sounds from what it sounded like from Brett Brown was saying, like he didn't want to play yesterday.
Yeah, and this is what I don't – and again, I've been saying this for a while, Corey. This is a guy, in my opinion, who's out of the league in 3 years.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, his body just keeps breaking down. You drafted him, as talented as he was when you drafted him, you knew he had some injuries already. He's a big guy. Big guys' bodies break down, pretty fast. And once they do, it's not like they ever get back to that peak. They're still big. They're still able to do things on the floor. But once these big guys lose that athleticism, it's not like they're going to bounce back from it. You know what I mean? So, year after year, we keep seeing it. If you're going to rely on Joel Embiid to carry your team to an NBA championship, Joel Embiid needs to suck it up. He needs to get out there. I mean, listen, Michael Jordan had the flu, could barely stand up. Scottie Pippen had to carry him off the court, and he dropped 50 and won a series. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear this. I got the tummy rumbles, and my nose is a little stuffed up. Like, It's the NBA playoffs, man. Get out there and do your thing. That's what you just made billions of dollars for. Go do it.
Up, Joel Embiid. Nobody don't want to hear about it. You probably was up playing video games till 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you was tired. I don't care about that. Take your ass to sleep, get some rest. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the NBA playoffs. You'll never hear Jimmy Butler saying something like, "I'm sick" in a game of this magnitude. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, right quick, Benny. I don't know. Do you watch Game of Zones on Bleacher Report?
No.
You have to watch it. It is at this
Game of Zones.
Yeah, it's called Game of Zones. It's more or less it's a Game of Thrones spinoff based upon the NBA. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's excellent. The writing is terrific. One of the battles was House Timberwolves, right? One of the episodes was about House Timberwolves, and House Timberwolves it was before the season started, and it was the owner and it was Tom Thibodeau sitting down eating whatever, and the owner's like, well, "What are we going to do with Jimmy?" And Thibodeau's like, "It's going to be okay." And Jimmy Butler, the character, comes in. He said, and Towns and Wiggins are all scared. They're hiding. It was like, give me that mangy old goat talking about Derrick Rose, 2 other G League players, and he goes out there and destroys them. They show Kyle Lowry crying when DeMar DeRozan got traded. It was a great one when the Portland Trailblazers were trying to attract Boogie Cousins. That one, and then the latest one was how more or less Carmelo Anthony has no place in the NBA no more. So Game of Zones is very funny, entertaining stuff, especially if you're a basketball fan. But the real stuff takes place tonight, Benny. This is one that I can't call right here. Milwaukee Bucks and Boston Celtics. Boston was absolutely horrible the other night. Milwaukee getting a point and a half this morning, Benny. You know what? I think it's finally sunk in that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to win this series, and they might win it going away.
I mean, again, I was on the Bucks at the beginning of the series. I have a Bucks ticket for this series. After that first game, I got scared off of backing the Bucks in all these games here. So I'm sticking with what I said then. I'm not willing to put any – I already have money on this series from the futures bets on the Bucks.
No doubt.
I'm not willing to put any more money on this series because every time I think I got it right, it turns the other way. I mean, I was on Milwaukee in game 1. After the Celtics beat them, I was like, oh, man, Celtics getting 7 in game 2. I'll hop on that side. That didn't work out. So I've told myself that for the sake of my bankroll and the sake of my children being able to eat and having food in their mouths, I'm just going to stay away from this series.
Let me ask you, Benny, 221 is the total. That seems a little high to me. But when the Bucks get rolling, they can score 220. They can score 130 points themselves.
Well, I mean, here's the problem with the series, I think. With the over-unders in the series, I think, is we need a close game, right? Like, we've had basically all the games, even the ones like when the Celtics win, like one team's blowing the other team out or the other team's blowing the other team out. So if you get one team scoring 120 and one team scoring 90, you're not going to get to the total. You need this game to be like what is it, 221? So you need like a 115, 108 kind of game in order to get there. And that's what we really need, and that's what we haven't really seen. Like, are we going to have a close game where it goes back and forth and ends up as a 5-point game where both teams get over 110? I mean, the other thing, too, is you got 2 good defenses out there. So for me, if I'm playing the series at all, it's going to be on the under.
Yeah. And one thing I will say about the Boston Celtics, I think the loss of Smart we're seeing how critical that was to that team. But also, Kyrie Irving, he really looks like uninterested.
Mm-hmm. It's
like he's checked out, Ben.
Honestly,
he can't bring that. If he wanted to come and play with Kevin Durant in New York in next season, he can't bring that shit to New York, Ben. He can't.
But here's the thing. I mean, this isn't new. Like, this has kind of been going on since the middle of the season with Kyrie, right? Like, we started hearing rumblings in the middle of the season about him, not being happy, and him and LeBron, like, reconciling their differences because Kyrie's like, damn, now that I'm the guy and these young guys are following me, like, I realized what you were saying all those years about, about how a lot of these guys weren't ready and weren't taking it serious and weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing and stuff like that. So Kyrie's kind of been salty for much of the season. I don't think this is something new, but yeah, it is something that now, I mean, again, you forced your way out of Cleveland, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're in Boston. You're kind of forcing your way out of Boston with the way you're acting. I love Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving's game. He's a Jersey guy, so I'm going to always back him anyway. But sooner or later, you start getting that kind of tag, right? And, but you know what? I mean, Jimmy Butler has that tag right now, too. Does anybody think that?
The thing about it is, Jimmy Butler's going to play. Jimmy Butler may come in the locker room and curse everybody out. but it comes from a better place than Kyrie Irving.
That's true. It's coming from a place of competitiveness and wanting to win with Jimmy. Right now, I don't know if it doesn't come from that same place with Kyrie, but right now it doesn't look like it in the media, at least, or the way it's being portrayed.
No doubt. I guarantee you 100% on that one right there, Benny. So other than that, like I said, outside that under, I can't really – it's trying to pick a side on this. I think I would go with the Bucks if anything. Mm-hmm. I haven't really seen no good player props in this one either, as far as, what we can get done in order to have some kind of action on the game. So that's how I'm looking at that one right there. Then tonight you got game 4 of Warriors and Rockets. Basically, the lines are basically the same. Rockets laying a point and a half at home. 116 on their money line. Golden State at plus 100. Again, Golden State is even money right now. 221 and a half. Basically 2 games, but damn near the same exact spreads.
I'm taking Golden State. Money line is
Golden State tonight too.
Yeah, you're giving me 1-1 on Golden State money to win this game. I'll take Golden State money to win this game.
It's always such a fucking sucker's bet whenever you see Golden State at plus money or short money like that. Yeah. But I can't never turn it down.
No, and again, I'm perfectly fine taking it. If Houston wins this game too,
so be it.
I had to them. It's going to be a great series, and we're going 7 games if that's what happens. But, I really think that the Warriors – it's like Houston, the playoffs to me, Corey, you got teams that are so evenly matched. It comes down to who wants it more, right? Mm-hmm. Houston could not have lost game 3. Houston loses game 3, they're down 3-0, the series is over. So they needed that game. They had to go out there and win that game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they don't have that same
urgency.
And that urgency is the difference between a couple points. It's the difference between that one loose ball you dive on that you get. It's the difference between that one other charge that you take instead of just kind of letting the guy go so you don't get in foul trouble. And when you get down to the end of these games, right, we're seeing a lot of these games, whether they're 2-point games or not, at some point in the last couple minutes of all these games, it's down to 1 bucket, right? Yep. Where if you would have had that bucket or you would have had that rebound or you would have taken that charge, it would have changed the outcome of these games. And if you're going to get these games that are coming down to literally who makes the 3 at the end or who makes their free throws or who comes up with a stop, every single little possession throughout the game is going to be important. And the teams that want it more have been the teams coming away with it. How many teams have we seen in 1-1 games wind up losing game 3 and then winning game 4 to make it 2-2? That's kind of the way this playoffs is going with a lot of teams that are evenly matched. So, if you have the motivation to win, I think that's a big boost. When you don't have it, like I don't think Houston really has it for tonight again anymore, I'd be willing to back Golden State.
Yeah, I'm back Golden State on this one too. Like I said, Golden State, they barely lost that game another night. Steph and Clay haven't even got warmed up in this series yet, while the Rockets stars are giving it their all. So, the Rockets are just not the same team that they were last year. The disadvantage on defense is glaring, and Golden State really kind of just, going through the – I don't want to say going through the motions, but Golden State will definitely win this series, and I think that Golden State gets this W tonight. And one interesting thing – well, let me ask you about this right here. Steph Curry over 24.5 points tonight.
Under. I mean, again, he hasn't been shooting. If Steph Curry was playing,
the under is at plus 100.
Yeah, I would take the under.
Okay.
I mean, Steph Curry hasn't been shooting the way we're used to seeing Steph Curry shoot. When he's on, he hasn't played very well this series at all. It's really been Kevin Durant that's kind of been the guy that's carrying them. So I'm not saying that Steph can't score 25 points. He can obviously always get hot, and he's always going to take the shots. But again, I forget what game it was where he did that thing to his finger. But since that game, he hasn't looked the same. So I definitely think it's affecting him.
All right, interesting. So, you know what? I don't mind putting it down on under either. It's plus money. I thought maybe you get the big bounce back game. But you know what? It doesn't really need to have the bounce back game, and that makes sense right there. Another thing, last thing on this series before we get to the big piece of chicken and get out of here, Benny. Not really about this series. The other night, I was watching the game the other night. You know that there's a chance that DeMarcus Cousins can return this playoffs. Not this series, but this playoffs. Like, DeMarcus Cousins can legit be back for the finals.
I did not know that, but that would be pretty big if he was.
He has not had no surgery. The injury is healing. Obviously still got a way to go. Not been doing any basketball activity yet. But there is some rumors that if the Golden State Warriors reach the NBA Finals, DeMarcus Cousins may very well be able to play.
Now, listen, I don't think you're going to get
We're a month away from the start of the finals. As crazy as that sounds, we're a month away from the start of the finals.
I mean, I don't think even if he's able to play, you're going to get like 30-minute a game DeMarcus Cousins.
It would just be good for him.
Well, I mean, even just give him you give him like those Andrew Bogut minutes or a couple of those Kevon Looney minutes. I mean, he's still probably a better, more athletic rebounder and defender than, both of those guys are. So even if you just put him out there 15, 18 minutes, I still think that would be an improvement for you out there. Again, you're not going to get the 35-minute DeMarcus Cousins that we thought we were going to see coming into the playoffs, but I mean, do they really need it? Like, I think they're still, in my opinion, they're still the favorites to win it all right now, even without him.
No doubt about it. Benny, you got a big piece of chicken before we get out of here?
Yeah, mine's going to Nikola Jokic, bro. That was just another unbelievable game for him yesterday. I think it was his ninth double-double in 11 games in the playoffs, his third triple-double in 11 games already in the playoffs. The guy's just doing it all. I mean, he is basically carrying his team right now. And he was the odds boost on FanDuel or DraftKings yesterday for plus 400 for the triple-double. So he gave me a couple extra bucks to spend today. So
you got it at plus 400. Wow, I caught it at plus 3-something the other night. I was scared to go back to it yesterday, though. I didn't know it was plus 400 yesterday. If I would have known that, I'd have jumped on it.
Well, I think the actual line was like plus 340 or something like that. But they had him as, I think it was on DraftKings. They had him as one of the odds boosts. Like the
DK. Okay.
Yeah. So for like, you can only get like $50 down on it. But I was like, hell, I'll take $50 at plus 400 on Jokic for a triple-double, and paid off for me. So not too bad.
There you go, Jokic. You get your big piece of chicken. I'm giving my big piece of chicken to that horse, Country House. He probably need the whole chicken, but you went out there, you ran that race. Dudes headed at 65-1. They got their money. You know what I'm saying? The $1 trifecta paid $11,000. How about that?
The $1 super was $50,000.
That's even better. For my main man, Benny Ricciardi, I'm Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, the opening line party, Elite Fantasy Sports Network. We are out.